the one directing traffic. He is the one they're all afraid of. He's the one that's King Slime. He's pulling the shots.
After being released from prison on probation, Young Thug was eager to make fun of Gunna. Two of his tweets have already gone viral for calling Gunna a rat, and Gunna isn't going to overlook anything because Thug has been on his case for a long time. You may recall the 2 jail calls that were leaked in which Thug told Durk and Lil Baby to diss Gunna. Now it appears that Thug wants to do it himself, and the animosity between the two appears to be building to the point of full-scale conflict. Here are the most recent T-Gunner's reactions to Young Thug and Lil Baby. Careless with the way the YSL head is acting, many believe he might be back in prison shortly after being released from probation. One of the stipulations of his probation was that he would not communicate with gang members or YSL affiliates. It's intriguing that the court granted 2 individuals an exemption. So Gunna and Thug's sibling Unknown the claim was that because Gunna is a signed artist to Thugs, they are bound by a contract and regularly create and to perform songs. According to sources, Thug deliberately requested that this provision be included in the probationary period, as his attorney disclosed in court. This explains why it seems the YSL leader desired the ability to fire Gunna without facing any repercussions. Despite not explicitly naming Gunna, Thuggers later now removed tweet confirmed the widely held belief that Young Thug and Gunna were not amicable. Thugger used X to address Lil Baby and convey subliminal messages to Gunna, stating, "Wham, let's drop one on these rats, Peter." Thug wrote, "I don't know you, my guy. What's crazy is that Gunna hasn't responded yet, preferring to continue working hard and putting out music. However, Gunna's brother took offense and responded under the post, saying that he trusts and believes the feeling is reciprocal." How did Gunna and Thug, who were once industry besties, end up in this predicament? Did Gunna really snitch on his friend? Something happened between Gunna and Thug. Thugger even has Lil Baby and Lil Durk jumping into this Gunna in songs and interviews. It all began on May 9th, 2022, when Young Thug and 26 other people were arrested after being named gang members in an 88-page grand jury indictment. The indictment claimed that the group had engaged in 182 instances of gang activity, and the prosecutors presented evidence such as lyrics and social media posts to demonstrate gang affiliation and criminal activity. Reports even indicated that YSL was associated with the National Bloods gang. Among the 56 allegations included in the indictment against YSL members were murder, attempted murder, armed robbery, aggravated assault with a dangerous weapon, narcotic sales, carjacking, and witness intimidation. The January 2015 murder of Donovan Thomas Jr., also known as Big Nut, a rival gang boss, was one of the most horrifying acts the group was charged with. The vehicle involved in the incident was purportedly hired by Young Thug from Hertz. On May 11th, Gunna turned himself in to the police and was arrested for a number of offenses. The rapper was accused of receiving stolen property and possessing drugs including methamphetamine, marijuana, and hydrocodone with the intention of distributing them. The judge denied Gunna and his boss Young Thug's bond requests, citing the safety of the witnesses and additional criminal activity from the YSL members. The prosecution asserted that witnesses received threats from Thug and other YSL members and were afraid for their own lives and those of their loved ones if they testified against them. It comes out that Thugger, who was in charge of traffic, had been attempting to suppress witnesses. Young Thug was also intimidating his gang members to ensure they wouldn't dare to turn on him. "We have seized property from Mr. Williams. Some of it is on this indictment, while others are not. They have consistently said that Mr. Williams is dangerous and that they fear him. He will take care of them and their families if they cross him. It should come as no surprise that Gunna was denied bond because he was close to Thug." His lawyers protested the decision and called it unfair, revealing that the prosecution had no evidence against their client and was only denying Gunna bond based on speculative claims and vague allegations. Given that he had not really committed any crimes, bail Gunna did not seem to be the kind of person who would remain behind bars. The authorities only needed to demonstrate that rapper Gunna was somehow connected to YSL because the evidence presented included lyrics from social media posts and clothes or accessories that had slime on them. Gunna had not been found in possession of anything illegal or involved in any of the murders. When it became clear that Gunna was guilty by association, the rapper made the unimaginable decision to enter into a plea agreement in the height of the YSL RICO case, which resulted in Gunna's release and a significant development. Atlanta-born rapper Gunna, whose real name is Sergio Kitchens, struck a deal with prosecutors in a massive racketeering case and left the Fulton County Jail late this afternoon. Al Banana will avoid going to trial alongside rapper Young Thug early next year because he agreed to a deal that would allow him to go free. But this is not the whole story. It turns out that because of his plea, Gunna was originally given a 5-year sentence with 1 year served. However, the court modified the 1-year sentence to time served and deferred the remaining 4 years. Balance, contingent on 500 hours of community service, among other requirements. Overall, the agreement meant that Gunna would be free, but had he actually given the prosecutor something that would have put the YSL boss behind bars? The video has surfaced that shows Gunna in court dropping a few truth bombs in front of a judge. Please indicate whether you agree with or acknowledge the veracity of each statement. Alright, Gunna acknowledged that YSL was a gang as well as a record company, and he also acknowledged that he had seen certain YSL members take part in gang-related criminal conduct. Yes, when this video was released, the industry was ablaze with people calling Gunna a rat. YSL is a music label and a game, and you have first-hand information that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes and ruined the game. As soon as possible, Gunna defended himself, and his attorneys even rushed to Instagram to refute the claims that Gunna had snitched. According to the article, Gunna did not snitch to get out of prison. Instead, he has remained silent and is not cooperating, and his plea statement cannot be used against anybody else in court. Defendant, it turns out that the rapper accepted an offer plea, which means that as part of his proposed plea, he acknowledged that there was sufficient evidence to condemn him rather than admitting guilt. The rapper claimed that Gunna's statements would only be relevant to his case and could not be used in other cases. He also stated that he had no intention of testifying as a state witness or becoming involved in the trial in any way. Although I promise to always be truthful, I want to be clear that I have not made any statements that have not been. In an interview with well-known hip-hop commentator DJ Academics, Durk himself disclosed that he had a strong dislike for snitchers. He said, if you ever tell, I hate you with a lot of emotion." He explained that he did this because he wished he had a relationship with his father because snitching had cost him half of his life. "Mother told all my pops, so I was raised by a woman, my mama, so I really hate rats." He said, looking at the camera, "Hate rats." Dante Banks, Durk's father, was caught in 1993 and given a life sentence. In 2019, Durk came to Twitter to spread the good news that one may understand why he despises rats. Banks, who spent 22 years prior to winning his appeal, was involved in a crack cocaine trafficking operation and had up to $8 million in his hands at the time of his arrest. When asked about Gunna and the accusations of snitching by DJ professors, he made a chest gesture that you think. And Gunna used that individual that guy said you should have gone inside and kept your mouth shut. I don't sit up and play games, dude. Would you play Gunna in the club? No, I don't. Dirk was also questioned about why, in contrast to other rappers like Lil Baby and Meek Mill, he did not unfollow Gunna on Instagram. I don't know why I didn't unfollow him, the rapper said. I just don't take Instagram and all that stuff seriously, but if you're a rat, and I hate you because I love Thug. Dirk didn't mince words and told Gunna straight up that his new op is him, What Happened to Virgil, despite working with Gunna on many songs, is intriguing considering Gunna and Lil Durk have worked together on over 5 albums. Lil Durk has publicly stated his allegiance. Lil Durk hasn't held anything back when discussing his friendship with Thug Durk. In fact, he nearly involved himself in a song called Mad Max, which features future L. Durk Wops to demonstrate how close he and Thug are. I might have been a part of the Rico. I gave Thug a call and told him everything The tension since additional members of YSL, including Young Thug's sister, unfollowed Gunna as well. Everybody in YSL was staring at Gunna and asking why he was there, so they all did so immediately after Thug's sister DJ Academics revealed Lil Durk openly expressed his opinion on the subject, as Chicago rapper Gunna said on Thug. In addition to expressing this opinion in his music, Durk was also unafraid to address the topic head-on in interviews. The rapper said in a press release about the proposed plea that the people examined had not cooperated, had not consented to testify or be witnesses for or against any party in the case, and had no intention of participating in the judicial process in any manner. By openly admitting my affiliation with YSL, the rapper said, I have decided to end my own RICO case with an offered plea and end my personal ordeal. In my instance, an offered plea is the entering of a guilty plea to the one charge against me, which is in my best interest while denying any wrongdoing in relation to the same accusation additionally. Young Thug's father stepped out to say that Gunna's statements to the police would not harm Young Thug's case. What are your thoughts about Gunna? I adore Gunna. Gunna hasn't done anything at all that may harm us throughout this case time, and Gunna is a rat who has done this and that. However, Young Thug didn't see it that way since he chose to go all out on Gunna, despite the fact that the YSL case involving Thug's children's dissing was still pending in court. Young Thug had been calling Gunna a rat for a long time and had been using Lil Baby and L. Durk to let the world know how he felt about his betrayal, but unlike Young Thug, Gunna responded directly to the two artists. It appears that Thug disrupted a few friendships in an attempt to exact revenge on Gunna because the first time he expressed his hatred of the YSL artist, Gunna would respond in a diss track of his own. When a prison phone conversation tape of Thug speaking to Gunna's closest friend, Lil Baby, was leaked, I wham utilized him. If you're considering replying to what that buddy released, I'd want you to do it on my album. On the same day that he releases his record, I will release my impromptu album, which I will call Business. According to a different jail phone conversation tape, Thug tells Lil Durk to keep any insults directed at Gunna for his upcoming album. Hello Durk, I'm dropping. I need a verse from you for this surprise album, which comes out the same day as my friend's upcoming album. Don't respond to what he's saying. Put it on my album. Send in your verse, I want you and Wham on the same song. I'm releasing an album the same day that was released. In many interviews, Thug claims that despite being good friends with Gunna, L Baby and Durk had to choose a side. According to Lil Baby, Gunna is his best buddy in the business. I like to think of the gun as if we weren't friends, you understand what I mean, like we like more than friends. So would you say that the gun is your closest friend in the industry? Definitely, but after Gunna's court video was made public, Lil Baby knew which side he had to choose, and the rapper was compelled to unfollow Gunna on Instagram in support of Thug. Lil Durk did the same after he was freed, posting that they were switching sides, but it was only one side hash while the label hash free Thug and Yak, I'm returning because this wasn't cool, shot in a similar manner. Thug has often declared his love for Lil Durk, and during the rapper's recent appearance on Zane Lowe's Music Daily Show, he said that he was prepared to die for Lil Durk. I'm ready to die. By Lil Baby, Durk, and Uzi Gunner, I'm willing to die for these individuals, so it's not surprising that Lil Durk even made fun of Gunner for snitching in one of his most recent songs. The rapper posted a sample of his new song, Obama, on Instagram. The caption went on to say 69ine presents his own account of what transpired in the courtroom. Judge, you know that YSL is a gang. Correct, Fat Gunner, right, ma'am? Only you and Jeffrey are in the vehicle when the cops discover a revolver and narcotics. Shortly after giving his thoughts on the matter in an interview with Whack 100, the rapper said in the caption, Gunner had made Young Thug's case 10 times tougher, therefore, me pleading guilty is just making it harder for my guys. What you just said in that courtroom will be used against your man, aside from 69 other rappers who chose to remain silent rather than come forward, like Bobby Shmurda, who also had something to say about the Gunner situation in 2014. The rapper was arrested in a drug trafficking sting along with 14 other people, and 21 guns were found during the operation. The group was charged with 69 counts of murder, attempted murder, drug dealing, possession of weapons, and a host of other offenses as part of a lengthy investigation. Authorities said that Shmurda's lyrics from his song Hot were a real-life record of what they were doing on the streets, and that they were almost utilized in court in relation to shootings and drug selling in Brooklyn, in contrast to YSL's RICO case. Shmurda was originally given 5 years, but he decided to accept 7 years so that his friend Rowdy Rebel would spend less years. According to the rapper, Shmurda was offered 5 years, but Rowdy was granted 12. He wanted a lighter sentence for his friend, so he accepted 7 years, while Rowdy the rapper has gone out blazing on Gunner's situation by unleashing a freestyle that calls out rats in the business, albeit he doesn't mention Gunner in it. He also had his prison sentence reduced by 5 years. People have speculated that Gunner is one of the targeted victims because of its date. It sounded like a direct jab at Gunner and the YSL members who had accepted plea bargains and left Thug behind bars, but Shmurda's song targets the idea that rappers are spying on their buddies and putting them in prison. Shmurda has yet to reveal the song's lyrics, its intended audience, or when it will be released. The fact that Thug's own brother, Unfunk, whose real name is Quantavious Greer, took a plea deal added another twist to this already sensational story. According to local reports, Unfunk entered a negotiated guilty plea on one count of violating Georgia's RICO Act and the account of theft by Gunner and the other YSL members. However, no one in the industry was ready for this. Other serious crimes, including assaults and kidnappings, as part of his plea agreement, 69ine responded to Gunner's Instagram post by pointing out the rapper's inconsistent behavior in court. He said it was a gang, yet on Instagram you're claiming the label he created, which is absurd _____. Gunner admitting in court was even ridiculed by the rapper, who posted the viral footage with the message, just shut up and listen, I know you don't want to accept that your man is fighting for his life in court on a gang RICO. In which he raps about what happened to Virgil and how likely he is to put it plainly, Gunner couldn't ignore this disrespect, so he took to the booth in his song Bread and Butter. The rapper implies that he might have been duped by his lawyers and the DA to accept the deal, claiming that he never made a statement or consented to take no position on them on anything, but trust me, I'm standing on it. The DA's lawyers were cunning. And I fell for it on my P's and Quest because this time I would be ready for it. The artist reportedly threatened to beat his detractors and apparently declared his loyalty to Young Thug, rapping, and he's never wavered in his integrity and honesty. I love my bro so much that I'd never betray him. I'm the one who goes out and does the job and brings you the damn profit. As his first verse comes to a close, Gunna's words seem to be more critical of Lil Baby for betraying him. He even accuses him of having a spy rapping and peeping with him. I'm watching fall back. You have had me as the subject of the conversation you turned on me when you realized you were working with a rat and the lad who was like your brother. No one spoke about it and the city could see it plainly. If I had to say it, you were still with that dun and your partner saw you talking to him. You only knew him because of Slack. These rap boys need more streams. He placed my name on wax for her. There are more rappers in the game that responded to the claims of Gunna snitching besides Dirk and Lil Baby. Some artists like 6999 have testified in court while others have remained silent. Meek Mill unfollowed Gunna on social media and other musicians responded to the charges that Gunna had snitched. Rappers like Bobby Shmurda also had something to say. 69 has strangely expressed a lot of opinions on the issue his involvement in. Gunna's case is all the more intriguing and funny since 6999, who was recently involved in a RICO case, ended up snitching on his friends. After being taken into custody, 6999 and 4 other companions were accused of federal RICO and firearms charges, including conspiracy to commit murder and armed robbery in 2018 and faced life in prison. The rapper was accused of belonging to the 9 Trey Gangsters, a violent faction of the Bloods. Although he initially entered a not guilty plea, he quickly changed his mind and cooperated with the authorities, as evidenced by the 69 lyrics used by authorities in the YSL RICO case, particularly in his songs Gumo and Kuda. The rapper not only snitched on himself but also had to bring down other gang members by accusing them of receiving stuff that has been stolen as part of the plea deal. Unfunk was sentenced to 12 years in prison, of which 2 years were commuted to time served and the remaining 10 years were spent on probation. He also had to perform 750 hours of community service, refrain from owning firearms, and adhere to a rigorous 10 p.m. The subtleties of the evidence against Dirk were further brought to light by Cohen's observations. He cited a particular text message that was purportedly sent by Dirk and said, "Avoid letting them link my name to any flights they are taking." Despite being considered as damning, Cohen maintained that this language is not strong enough to prove guilt on its own. Cohen said, "It's definitely not a good text, but is it the only text because of such? It is not sufficient in itself." His remarks imply that the defense has leeway and highlight possible flaws in the prosecution's case. Supporters of Lil Durk are anxiously awaiting word on his condition as the court struggle progresses, according to reports. His legal team is hopeful that he will soon be released on bail. In addition to giving him the chance to see his loved ones again and continue his job, this would be a major turning point in his struggle for freedom. This struggle is more than simply a court battle for Lil Durk. It's evidence of his tenacity and willpower. His ability to remain upbeat in such a trying situation says a lot about his personality. Furthermore, his colleagues and legal team's devotion and commitment highlight the strong bonds he has built over the years. One thing is evident as supporters and admirers closely monitor the case: Lil Durk is more than simply a rapper in a challenging circumstance. He stands for a story of tenacity, devotion, and the pursuit of justice. His story continues to inspire many who see him as a symbol of resilience in the face of hardship, regardless of whether the next events result in his The bargain came with a lot of attention, with social media rumors of snitching going viral. He was also prohibited from contacting his brother or any of his co-defendants in the indictment until the case was concluded, in addition to the 6 a.m. curfew. To address the accusations that were going around regarding his plea agreement, Unfunk turned to Instagram stories. He said, "Damn, people really think I told on my own brother," shaking my head, "Show me in my paperwork I told on anybody, you Unfunk's lawyer." Nicole Mormon clarified the issue and provided some insight. That the 10-year probationary period can end after 3 years. Mormon underlined that Unfunk had not cooperated with authorities or consented to testify against any of his co-defendants throughout the trial. Mr. Greer has accepted a plea deal that effectively amounts to 10 years of probation, which may be terminated after 3 years. His attorney informed the press that Mr. Greer had not participated and had not consented to testify against any of his co-defendants in the trial, but shortly after, Unfunk returned to court for breaking his plea. Consent. All eyes were on Judge Earl Glenville as he prepared to impose the sentence that would determine Unfunk's fate after he was brought in on charges of possessing a firearm as a convicted felon who was involved in illegal activities with a criminal street gang and a few other traffic offenses. The judge spoke directly to Unfunk, reminding him of the specific condition of his probation that specifically forbade him from possessing a firearm.